Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got done watching episode 5 of Chucky, the TV series. This episode is entitled Little Lies. And first, let me just start off by saying I really enjoyed this episode. I did. For so many reasons. We've advanced certain characters, relationships, we've advanced the plot and the mythology very well. So, all of that, I think, so far is going in the right direction. The show answered a lot of questions as far as the movie continuity and how it would work into the show and if it would make sense. So far, I'm shockingly surprised and okay with what they did. Let's start off at the very beginning where we see actually it's a flashback scene of a young Charles who not as young as last week's episode, but similar to when we saw young Brad Dourif, Charles Lee Ray in 1988 Child's Play. At first, I thought maybe they were at a prom or something, but then I thought, well, this Charles doesn't look young enough to be a teenager and high school age. So I think it was more of a bar or a nightclub. But, budget wise, I guess they had to make it look as okay as they could. And he meets a blonde. This blonde, a little kinky. Her date actually leaves her, says, well, you're too much for me. And Charles goes up to her and starts hitting on her. And I for sure thought this was Tiffany. I did. And I think that's what they were going for. They wanted you to think it was Tiffany because she's blonde, because she was a little too rough with the previous guy. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, I guess this is how Charles meets Tiffany. We didn't hear her name, and that was for good reason. And then, well, before I go any further, let me mention how, and I'm going to do some criticism, how bad the ADR was for Brad Dourif doing the voice of this younger actor playing him. I get it. They wanted it to sound like Chucky. They wanted to have that voice, right? They didn't want to be this other actor and his voice that maybe people would say, that doesn't sound like Chucky. That doesn't work. But it's very jarring because it's so obviously ADR. It's so obviously Brad Dourif's voice over another person. It reminds me of how they did the same thing in Venom Let There Be Carnage. They had a younger actor playing a young Woody Harrelson and they used his voice over it. I want to say they've done this before in other movies to where it's again, it's the only thing that I didn't like about that was just how obvious the voice was. But let's go back to present day where we're in the hospital. We see young Caroline who is now awake and she's asking for Chucky, and she's very annoying, this girl. I know she's young. I know kids that age they're gonna complain and whine and but man, I just want to shake this girl and say, no, no more Chucky doll. Even if I didn't know that the Chucky doll was possessed and trying to kill, I would just say, forget about this goddamn doll already. Of course, the father, who he knows that this doll is burnt and melted and looks scary as all hell. And he should know that his daughter would want nothing to do with a doll that looks like this. He still shows her the doll. Now, maybe he thought, if I show her this doll, she'll actively not want the doll anymore, and so I can get rid of it. If that was the case, okay, fine. But you also just traumatized this girl for life, probably, seeing her doll look this way. She screams in horror. The father goes and dumps the burnt doll in the trash slot at the hospital, the garbage slot. This actor that plays the father, I didn't even realize until at the end of last week's episode, they did like a behind the scenes talk with the cast. And that actor who plays the father, I guess, is the same actor from the Curse of Chucky movie. Or no, the Cult of Chucky movie. The Cult of Chucky, the last one. He was the rapey doctor from from the hospital. Now he's playing the goody two shoes father. He looks very different, so I guess it works, but it's just weird that it's the same actor. And in any event, you see Lexi trying to find out, I think trying to find out where the doll is, but her mom is being a complete bitch to her. The father tells her that he got rid of the doll in the garbage. So she goes along with Jake and Devin down to where the trash is, right? And they're talking about, okay, are we going to actually try to look through this disgusting needle filled garbage pile? Garbage? But see, and I thought I was waiting and I was expecting for the moment where Lexi was going to revert back to being a bitch. Like in this scene, I thought she was going to say, no, no, Jake, it's your fault, all this. You go in there and do this. But she didn't. Yes, she whined a little bit. Yeah, she was grossed out, but who doesn't blame her? Who wouldn't blame her? But she did put the gloves on eventually, and she did dig around in the trash along with Jake, who Jake was using a broom. So she was more in danger of not only being stabbed by Chucky, but stabbed by needles and shit. So I will give Lexi some credit there. They didn't find Chucky, and there was a moment where Jake fell and Devin caught him. So I thought, oh, okay, here we go, a little romance going on. We cut to a classroom scene. This was nice, not only to see the teacher back, because I like the teacher, but when she has to leave the room to talk to the cop, the detective, that's where Lexi actually goes up to Jake and Devin, and the three of them are talking about Chucky still. And I thought, wow, like Lexi is not afraid to now be seen in front of a class or in front of the school or even in front of her boyfriend talking to Jake. Again, I almost expected Lexi to, in public, still ignore Jake or still pretend to not be cool with him because of her image and whatever the hell is supposed to be important in high school. But no, she didn't care. She was like, oh, no, we're going to talk about this. Even when they suggest maybe telling Junior, she says, no, he's not going to believe us. It's just us three. I was like, wow. So the trio is going to feel like an actual trio and a friendship. And I'm like, man, they've done a complete 180 on the Lexi character. That's cool. And then we get a scene in the hallway where Devin and Jake hold hands. Again, in public. So not only are we confirming that Jake or that Devin is gay too and likes Jake. I mean, we kind of figured so, but this is all and out, no doubt. Jake wasn't misreading the signs. We weren't misreading the signs. They're holding hands and they're doing it in public. They don't care who sees them. They don't care about being made fun of. They just do it. And that's cool. That's nice to see. Then Caroline's father, I guess, decided to go out and buy a new Chucky doll, although this one is called Tommy. What's weird about this is that after Caroline saw the melted Chucky, she screamed and then later was saying, I hate Chucky. No, I don't want to talk about or see the Chucky doll ever again. So why would the father go and buy a new doll? I mean, it worked. She ended up liking it, but it seemed like she would have been okay not being around any Chucky doll, new doll, old doll. But okay, fine. He decided to take a chance. He did it. She liked it. And obviously this needed to happen because Chucky needed a new doll, a new body, a new host. I did like the scene where Lexi saw this new doll and freaked the fuck out in front of the parents, in front of everybody. She started just beating it up, horrifying her sister. That was great. The mother is a bitch. I don't care. Honestly, this mother is an asshole and she needs to die. Now that might sound harsh. And oh, why did I not want Lexi to die, but I want the mom to die? Because Lexi obviously was hiding behind a lot of pain, a lot of rejection from her mother, a lot of other stuff going on in her life to where she was lashing out against Jake. That's clear now. And she was young enough to where I thought, well, let's see what kind of person she'll grow up to be. Where the mother is an adult. She's a grown ass adult. And she's acting like a bitch. She's treating her daughter like shit. I know that she blames Lexi for the house burning down and for the other daughter being traumatized. But still, man, be a little more subtle about it. It's just she just kept going hard on Lexi over and over again, even in a couple scenes later on. She grounds her for we don't even know how long. So Lexi supposedly can't leave, but she does leave the house at some point. The father finds the disfigured Chucky doll in the room, in the daughter's room somehow with the new doll. He takes the bad doll, puts it in the trash outside. Lexi texts Jake and Devin. They come, and I didn't realize it until they grabbed the Chucky doll from the trash can and started beating it up and destroyed the doll. I said, holy shit. Chucky put his soul into the new doll. I realized it. I figured that out as soon as they destroyed the doll. Now, I'm sure other people might say, well, of course, I figured that out too, right then and there. So I'm not saying I discovered this M. Night Shyamalan twist before it happened, but the ending of this episode sure treated it like a twist, and so I guess I wasn't supposed to figure that out. I've seen enough of these horror twist shit to have figured it out. I will say that the scene where we saw the ugly Chucky doll at the window looking at Caroline hugging the new doll, and he looked genuinely sad. And I actually felt bad for the fucking thing, for a serial killer doll. I felt bad for him for a little moment. And so then everyone's happy. And now that the group thinks that Chucky's dead, once again, I thought, all right, this is where Lexi is going to turn, right? I kept waiting for it. I was waiting for her to say, all right, well, now that we have the Chucky doll situation taken care of, fuck you, Jake. Get the hell away from me. I don't want anything to do with you. You really thought I was going to be friends with you after all this? No, fuck you. I was waiting for that, but it didn't happen. In fact, well, before we get there, we get a scene where Jake and Devin kiss. They kiss. And it wasn't a peck, like they actually kiss. And I was like, wow, all right, we're really furthering this relationship. They progressed to now being a full-blown let's kissy kiss couple. In public, no less. So, all right, cool. Good for Jake. He finally got the boy of his dreams. And then we see another flashback. So we see the younger Charles, right? Which, in this scene especially, how much did young Charles look like Tommy Wiseau from The Room? Oh, hi, Mark. You were waiting for this actor to say something along those lines. He gave me complete Tommy Wiseau, The Room vibes. But we get the scene where him and the blonde girl find a redhead. I don't know if she was a prostitute or I don't know if she was just some girl at a nightclub that they convinced to come to a hotel room with them and have a threesome, maybe, because Charles was just sitting there watching the two girls get it on. Okay, fine, cool. Do your thing. Whatever floats your boat on a random Tuesday night. And then Charles gets the idea of like, hey, we're going to kill this girl. American Psycho style, right? Hire a prostitute. Again, I don't know if she was a prostitute, but let's bring this girl back, have a little fun times, and then kill them. And so I'm waiting for him to stab the redhead, but then the redhead sees him with the knife and says, do it. Fucking do it. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm totally into this. I want to die. That's going to turn me on. What? I mean, I don't know if this girl thought that Charles wasn't going to do it, that she was calling his bluff, or if she said, I'm so fucked up and crazy and suicidal that I don't care if you kill me right now. Like, I don't care. Maybe it's more that, because I wouldn't assume that this guy's bluffing, believe me. The blonde girl starts freaking out and saying, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And then he turns and starts to stab Blondie, which that did surprise me. Wasn't expecting that. He even hands the knife over to the redhead, and she starts stabbing the blonde over and over again. They introduce themselves to each other. I guess they didn't say each other's name. He says, my name's Charles. The redhead says, my name's Tiffany. And it's not until she says that when I notice that she too has the Jennifer Tilly voice dubbing over her voice. And then it became obvious that, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is supposed to be Tiffany. I guess she was a redhead first. Charles says to her, you should dye your hair blonde. Very on the nose. We had to get everything of the origin all spelled out in this one scene. They make out and go on the bed covered in blood, very fucked up. I guess that's the way that Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany meet. I was curious after Bride of Chucky if we would ever someday one day see how these two got together, because she does talk about how they were a couple before he got killed and left her alone. So we saw it, and there you go. I'm not going to say that I loved the way that they met. Yeah, it was a twist. Yeah, it was very fucked up. But I almost feel like these two characters falling in love, I think I almost expected something more fucked up. And again, I don't know what would have been more fucked up than what we got. It's just, maybe it happened very fast. Maybe I would have liked to have lived in that flashback a little more. I guess that's just a minor nitpick, though. We get a scene where the aunt, Devon Sawa's wife, who I guess is the same actress from Jason X. Very random, but I watched Double Toasted talk about this show, and they put that together. I thought she looked familiar, so there you go. And so she's talking to her therapist. All this time, we were supposed to think that her secret was that she was cheating on poor Devon Sawa. But no, it's actually poor this woman. She has stage 4 cancer. They made it a point to say it's stage 4 cancer. So she's not probably, well, I shouldn't say for sure, but she's probably not going to survive this. And so that actually made me feel bad for her. The fact that she doesn't want to make the family be upset or deal with this the way that she is. And so that's the secret. That's why she's not telling them. I don't know where that goes, right? I don't know where it goes. Maybe she'll get killed without them ever finding this out. But that was sad. It was. It was a quick moment, quick scene. And then we get Tiffany and Nica, possessed Nica, in a hotel room. I think it was the same hotel room. I think. Maybe. And they're going at it. They're making out. Hot lesbian action, even though technically Nica is the possessed soul of Charles Lee Ray. And I was wondering, what do people who, if they haven't watched the last 2 Chucky movies, especially because they were direct to DVD, what the hell are they thinking? Are they like, who the hell are these people? What's going on? How does this have anything to do with Jake and the main story that we've been following? Maybe they'll recognize Jennifer Tilly. I don't know. But then we see that they have this guy tied up in the room. Jennifer Tilly is hungry, so she goes off to maybe get food, but she didn't come back with food. She came back saying she still wanted food, so I don't know where she went. But all of a sudden, possessed Nica drops her knife, and then she's back to being regular Nica. Now, I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to figure out, is it because the other Chucky doll did the spell and put his soul into the new doll? Is that what broke the connection that she had? Or maybe it's just because so many of Charles's souls is in different dolls and different objects that maybe the connection isn't as strong. I don't know. Maybe they'll explain that. Maybe not. But we get the real Nica, and talk about feeling bad for that character. And they did a pretty good job of catching everyone up with her history, right? They even show the events of Curse of Chucky, which is a pretty good Chucky movie. If you guys haven't seen that, I would highly recommend Curse of Chucky for sure. You see that she was blamed for the murders and went to the insane asylum. You see a couple of scenes, not as much, of the cult of Chucky, not as good of a movie. And you see that she got possessed. And so they explain it. I don't know if it makes new people care about her as a character, but I care because I like Nica and I like Fiona Dourif, the actress. And so seeing too how she wasn't able to move her legs, she's a paraplegic, so she was stuck and she was trying to help this man. She felt bad realizing what she has done. She realized that it's been 2 weeks, so now we have a timeline that this show is about 2 weeks since the events of Cult of Chucky. This is all pretty good information as far as knowing where everything stands in the continuity. And then Jennifer Tilly shows up. The guy, well, before she shows up, the guy punches Nica, and then she goes back to being possessed. I don't know if punching her uh, knocked him back in, or I don't know, but then she gets back up and she kills the guy, slits his throat. And so that was really just for us to get the explanation. He had to be the reason why we got any of that. But that was cool. That was a cool way to tie everything back in and introduce those characters. I don't know how they'll end up, if at all, with these characters. You know, like I don't know what they're doing even. Are they just fucking and killing? Is that just it? Okay, I guess that does sound like fun. And then we see a scene where actually it's some sort of assembly or get together where they're going to hear from the principal and hear from Lexi's mother. But we see Lexi again sitting with Junior and Devin, so they're like friends now. She's sitting with them at a big function. Junior comes up to Lexi and says, "What the hell is going on?" Mind you, this is after a dinner scene where Junior saw that Lexi is texting Jake, but not texting him back, and they kind of got into an argument. And so she says, "You know what? Chucky's doll, Jake's doll is alive. He killed all these people, and yeah, that's what's going on." Junior doesn't believe her, and she says, "You see, he's a dick, kinda, or he doesn't trust me, or whatever it is." I did like that. It did show that Lexi does know him very well, and it makes sense to why he can't be a part of the group. That was cool. And then this moment was pretty great, and it kept in line with we have to get a murder per episode, not just the flashbacks, but present day. The principal's head comes rolling out on stage. We see her dead body, and that's when the kids realize, holy shit, Chucky's alive. We see Chucky, in fact, behind the curtain. So, man, Chucky's just gonna fuck with them now. Again, is his goal just to kill them all? I don't know, but I don't care because I'm enjoying everything that I'm seeing so far. That's when we get the reveal, which again, I had already figured out, so it wasn't a surprise, but it was cool to see Chucky put his soul into the new doll, and so that other doll that they destroyed was just a doll. That was it. And so, yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I thought it was great. I thought we got some good stuff as far as the horror stuff. We got some good character stuff between Lexi, Jake, and Devin, and we got some cool flashback stuff. And next week, we see for sure that Alex Vincent, Andy, is going to be there, is going to show up, is going to try to go after Chucky. Maybe Alex or Andy and Kyle, maybe the two of them are going around killing as many of the dolls that are out there. Maybe that's what they're doing. Like they're sort of cleaning up everything going on. And maybe we'll find out that that's the last of the Chucky doll. Who knows? Who knows? But I can't wait. I can't wait for next week. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Chucky? Did you enjoy it as well? What was your favorite part? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!